Hi, this is what happened when Jesus went back to Nazareth. On the Sabbath, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astonished, outraged, and they said, "Where did this man get these things? What is the wisdom given to him? How are such mighty works done by his hands? Isn't this the carpenter, the son of Mary and brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? Are not his sisters here with us?" And so they were offended. And Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honour except in his hometown and among his relatives and in his own household." And he could do no mighty work there except that he laid hands on a few sick people and healed them. And he marvelled because of their unbelief. Just think of what's being said here. People, there's a pattern. People, the elders, the priests, the establishment of the day, didn't like what they saw. An ordinary man saying revolutionary things and being able to heal people, help people. How dare he? He's a commoner. It's impossible that he could know so much. He's not educated. His family are commoners, simple folk. They are the ones that we tell what to do, how to think. And this upstart is upsetting the apple cart. We'd better do something. And so they did, and they crucified him. It takes a long while to die on a cross. You choke when you try to breathe because the way your body is hung and every breath becomes a torment, especially when you've just been skewered with a whip. Now, a different history, different culture, different time, but the same process, the same pattern. Our so-called leaders and so-called progressives torture people with threats of prison, with being outlawed, cancelled, and underlying it all, and this is the thing, is the same fear of truth that might empower people. Think of Julian Assange, tortured with years of isolation into illness and no doubt psychological destruction. For what? Making documents public that showed the criminality of governments, documents that should be made public. When was it decreed that government could behave independently of our wishes and permission and behave secretly? Think of Tommy Robinson, a journalist that the establishment wants dead, and have in the past taken measures to allow for that to happen. Putting him in a prison with Muslims who want to kill him, failing to protect him from numerous death threats from radical Muslim groups who also threaten to rape, torture and murder his family. Why? Because he thinks in his own way that the truth matters. His latest documentary, Silenced, is a scathing indictment of politicians, the media, journalists, the police, the legal system, regarding the case of the Syrian boy who a couple of years ago claimed that he was attacked by a racist bully in school. I smelt a rat the moment this story was reported, but the whole world and its dog turned against the English schoolboy. Piers Morgan called him vermin. Jeremy Vine practically gave his name away. But who went to the school, who interviewed people, who looked at documents and testimonies and reports to try and discover the truth of this? One person, Tommy Robinson. And surprise, surprise, the truth was the opposite of what we've been told. It's documented now. And so what happens? That documentary is banned and Robinson threatened with another jail sentence. We're being told, you must not listen to this. You must not watch this. You must only believe what we told you to believe. In a just world, Robinson would probably be head of BBC News instead of being bankrupted, threatened and hounded. So I think we have a new church of people, and it's a tiny church compared to the globalist cathedral with its money, its power, so that it has the media, education, politics, pharma companies in its control. Think of David Icke. 20 years ago, he was seen as a nutter. Now, most of what he said about a new world order, global policing, unrestricted migration, media propaganda is the world we live in. Completely different figure, John Pilger. When I was growing up, he was a mainstream journalist. Now, he's seen as an extremist almost by many people. And in the mainstream media, he's often cancelled. Katie Hopkins, different person again altogether, but bankrupt, cannot go to her kids' school, has to give a different name for herself because she's been targeted and threatened by people on the left who want anyone who doesn't agree with them to literally disappear. What are these powers frightened of? Well, everything. A fear of truth, fear of being caught in the nets they've created for others over race and gender. They're frightened of Islam, frightened of the sunshine, frightened of weather, frightened of themselves, frightened of language, frightened of debate, frightened of questions, frightened of the hard work of thinking something through, frightened of defending national borders, frightened of history, frightened of being wrong, frightened of X and Y chromosomes, frightened of just about everything except their own prejudice against anyone who dares to think and speak differently. So people like this, Katie Hopkins, Jordan Peterson, John Pillinger, David Icke, Tommy Robinson, Julian Assange, Douglas Murray. In the States, people like Ben Shapiro, the soldier whistleblowers who told the truth about Iraq, Syria, Ukraine, and because of that will now never see the light of day. These are all very different people, and they might not even like each other. But that doesn't matter, because what they have in common is a desire to know and speak the truth as they see it, but not just to speak it, to try and discover it. And as each of them has discovered, there is a price to pay in today's propagandized clone factory, where freedom of speech and thought is being shrunk on a daily basis. Is it past the point of no return? I think it probably is. And it's worse now, because the people being rejected and vilified aren't saying they're the Son of God, that they're prophets. They're simply people who want to find out what's going on and then tell the truth of that. Jesus said, I am the way, the life and the truth. The truth matters. It's always mattered. So what it also shows us is that these people that I've mentioned, Assange and all the others, they do have a power, as we do. And it's not the power of money or weapons or money or controlling the media. It's the power invested in words when they dig away until they find the truth of things. And what these people also show us is how they, the political establishment, mainstream media, virtue signalling celebrities, the law, the woke brigade, people rigidly on the left and some on the far right, all of them are, as I say, frightened of the truth. Why? Because the truth wakes people up, or it should. And when people are awake, they can act. They can think, and God forbid they might also act. The truth unravels things. And if someone wants to control everything, including language and belief, the last thing they want is the truth coming out. And it's the job, it seems to me, of all of us to keep in our own modest ways speaking what we see as the truth. If you like this, please share and subscribe.